Hi, it's Gab Dad.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you.
With our first review of 2011.
A bit of a studio audience here.
Yes, we were kicking it up a notch. 2011. We've just had our 100th review by Max just at the New Year's. This will be our 101st. We're YouTube partners now, over 1,600 subscribers. So it's all looking good.
It's all looking good.
And we're here to review True Grit.
Which we obviously went and saw a few days ago.
Obviously.
We were thinking in 2011 of instituting new policy of reviewing films we haven't actually seen.
Yeah, it's the psychic approach, which we could do probably, actually. True
Grit is a remake of a 1969 film which starred John Wayne, for which he won an Oscar. The central character, played by John Wayne, obviously, in 1969, is Rooster Cogburn, who is a grizzled, one-eyed, drunken, disheveled U.S. federal marshal, who is hired by a young girl whose father was killed, and the killer escaped, hired by this young girl to track down her father and bring him to justice. And that's what happens. Rooster Cogburn heads out with the young girl, who he doesn't want the girl to come with him, but she insists.
She's spunky.
And she's spunky, and also a Texas marshal who's kind of a sidekick.
Bit of a dandy.
Bit of a dandy, sort of really sets off the grizzled, one-eyed, drunken, disheveled U.S. federal marshal.
Right. Yin to his yang.
Jeff Bridges plays the marshal in the remake, the Rooster Cogburn. As I said, Matt Damon plays the sidekick, and I can't remember the name of the actress who played the young girl.
No, she's a newcomer.
Newcomer.
Yeah. Haley.
And the story is very straightforward, very simple. It's tracking down this killer. It's sort of a road movie. There's a little bit of shooting. But so far as the plot goes, not a lot. It's really
based on a book.
Based on a book by Portis, I think from the 1930s, perhaps.
But most importantly, directed by
the Coen brothers.
Important to Coen brothers fans, of which there's a large demographic, and important as to whether this film makes a distinction of itself from the first one.
Yes.
And if this film is worthy, as many people think, of all the buzz and awards and box office.
Big box office, this film. Yeah. My take on the film is it's mildly entertaining, but not that's as high as I would put it. A bit boring, in fact. I've watched the original with John Wayne, and I found the original every bit as good as the Coen brothers remake, and very similar, by the way. The films, to me at least, were very similar.
I've seen it too, and I would agree with that. I thought there would be more difference. There was a lot of talk of, oh, the Coen brothers are going back to the roots of the book. They're not remaking the original film. Well, I haven't read the book, but I think the Coen brothers version is very similar to the original
to me,
film.
It was almost more of a copy than a remake. There's very little new extra added in it. And I also found the direction of the original 69 film, and I don't know who the director was, I've forgotten, to be as interesting and as good as the Coen brothers direction.
Wow,
so I didn't find it scored big on that. So, you know, my view of this film is it's okay, it's kind of mildly entertaining, it's sort of good way to spend a snowy winter's afternoon if you've got nothing else to do, but I don't feel strongly about it. I don't think it should be a serious Oscar contender in any category.
Well, it seems like it will be. I mean, regardless of if I agree with Oscar contention, I disagree. I was more entertained, I think, than you were. I do feel that the Coen brothers brought their sort of signature dark, black comedic tone to the underneath.
I didn't find that.
I felt through the dialogue and through the performances that did come through for me, and that carried me along in a more entertained way. As for the plot, it is quite basic, and I would say it definitely doesn't seem to deviate at all from the original film. But my question would be, what could they have done differently? I mean, how would you change the story or the setting? You would change the entire story.
My question to you is, why would the Coen brothers, you know, very famous directors, known for originality and quirkiness and all of that stuff,
why remake this?
Why would they take this film and remake it? I don't understand.
I can't answer that other than just to bring it to a generation that maybe was not familiar with the original one. I only sought out the original based on seeing this one and wanting to be able to compare. So there is a reason to remake things. Another recent example is Let Me In, the remake of Let the Right One In, to bring something to a new audience. But did they bring anything different? I would question that. And is this a film that's of a quality that's award worthy? I would question that as well. Jeff Bridges' performance is the best part of the whole thing. But does he deserve another Oscar a year later for a drunk, grizzled?
No.
I don't think that's in the cards or should be.
But also, in a sense,
but I was very entertained, nevertheless.
yeah, you were more
despite all
entertained
that.
than us. So, you know, I would give this film 3.5 dads.
3.5 dads. I would go with 3 3/4 Gabs. I think I was a bit more, maybe because of the female character.
3 5/8 dads.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you're hurting my head now. But I think maybe I had more connection with the young female spunky character than you, or something along those lines, where I was a little bit more engaged.
But you identify with the young female spunky character, and I identify with the old, drunken, and disheveled Marshall.
There you go. So
something for everybody in this film.
Yeah, it's a entertaining and well made film, and as you say, I mean, if you appreciate just a decent film on a snowy
one interesting thing about
January afternoon.
It's really a cowboy film, which was a hugely popular genre a while ago, but now is not so much. I mean, they don't make cowboy films much anymore.
And
this is like a cowboy film.
And so it's doing the success at the box office is, I mean, it's really, the one thing the Coen brothers have been able to do is, with this story, is bring it into a mainstream arena, and it's been successful.
In some ways, it's interesting as I think about it. I mean, it's a real antidote in a sense to, you know, Iron Man, Superman, Batman, Transformers, because there's no special effects in it. It's you know, there's no fancy razzle dazzle. It's just an old drunken guy on a horse with a gun tracking down a bad guy. And maybe there's going to be a revival of that kind of movie. Maybe people are so sick of all the glitz and special effects, and you know,
it's the antidote.
They'll suddenly say, "Gee, those old frontier days when you cooked pemmican on the open fire at night, and got on your horse and rode."
Okay, you're getting a bit too
drinking from the whiskey bottle as you went. Those were the days.
Well, maybe. I mean,
I have to leave now. My horse is tied up outside. It's time for me to ride off into the sunset or
the
something.
moment we've all been waiting for. Now, I think that's a good point, and it certainly you have to give credit to a film that's brought back those basic cinematic
plot lines,
comfort food values.
Comfort food, yeah.
I think
maybe the Coen brothers were brilliant. They saw that. They just kind of saw that people would lap this up, as indeed they seem to be doing.
Well, whatever they saw in it,
it's kind of a relief.
It's
back to a simpler age when there were no apps for your iPhone. You know, all you needed was bullets for your gun and a bottle of whiskey.
That sounds like good days. Well, get your whiskey, get your bullets. Check out True Grit. There's our review.
There it is. Thank you, folks.
Thanks for watching. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.